Tony Abbott. Do you think that your colleague, the Health Secretary, misspoke yesterday when he said that what he actually said was, what he inferred was that because he was good at trade, we could forgive his antecedents?
I didn't see the interview.
Oh, of course you did. He did 6 million views on. Do you want to see it?
I'm sorry, I have to put it on.
Let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look.
If you've got
Here
it.
we go. I've just told you what he said. I'm sure you don't support some of his comments. He's a homophobe and he's a misogynist.
Well, he's also an expert in trade.
So that's all right then.
Well, look, as far as I'm aware, there haven't been any announcements made on this at all. So I think we should wait till we get an announcement one way or the other.
I'm asking you about Tony Abbott and whether you feel that your colleague misspoke when he said that it was OK for him to be a misogynist and a homophobe, reportedly, because he's good at trade. Well,
as I say, I don't want to sort of get in something where he hasn't been announced as whatever this trade position is. I haven't studied the Tony Abbott record, and that's the first time I've seen Matt Hancock talk about it. So I know these things get sort of blown up and sometimes sort of, you know, become a very big kind of issue here. But if he hasn't been announced and, you know, I haven't personally seen all of his comments, personally speaking, you know, I don't think in you know, modern society, I think people should respect each other, and I don't think you know, I think we know the standards by which we would, you know, have conversations. But, you know, you're inviting me on something which I'm afraid I'm not a world expert.
Shouldn't you be? I mean, if he's going to be representing us around the world...
Well, and that's the big question, if he's going to be, so why don't we wait?
Well, don't we need to know?
And I'll come back. I will come back.
I'm sure you will, but I've got you here now, so I'm going to press you if I may. He may be, given that he is a climate change denier, given that he has said some despicable things about the elderly, and it didn't matter if they died of COVID-19, they should die naturally, given that he talked about women and ironing and some of the views on whether they should succumb to sex or not, given some of the views he said about basically homophobic views, would you be happy to have a drink with that man?
Well, as I say, I mean, you're inviting me to sort of comment on somebody who...
Because I wouldn't be happy to have a drink with him, would you?
Well, I've never been invited to have a drink with him. I don't think I've ever met him.
And what if you did? Would you accept?
Well, I prefer... First of all, I'd want to check the record for myself. I'm afraid I have to admit I haven't had time to do that. And secondly, I hate to bring us back to reality, but he hasn't been appointed to anything, and as far as I know, there haven't been any appointments made. So let's wait and see, and I promise I'll come back on your programme. I'm never shy of coming on your programme, and I'll come back and talk about it, if it's actually an issue.
And you don't feel that you're dodging that question?
Well, I simply, you know, you're asking me things which are very abstract in as much as nobody's been appointed to the position. So
no, but he's certainly being considered, and Priti Patel was courting him. We saw pictures of her with him, and Liz Truss is also very keen on him taking up the role.
Well, I don't think that the fact that somebody's met somebody proves that somebody's been appointed.
I'm posing for photographs in the Home Office.
Well, as I say, I'm not sure that actually proves anything apart from the fact he, was a world leader of, you know, a major economy and economic and social friend of ours in Australia. But I know you're trying to draw me out on this. I promise I will come back.
I mean, he said some despicable things. As I said to your colleague yesterday, you know, you're a forward-thinking 21st century man. Do you really want to be associated with some of those comments?
Well, as I say, there are lots of people with whom the comments I would vehemently disagree, but I'm not into defending people who are not actually carrying out any role for the British government. There's no reason for me to comment on it until or unless, and I promise you, I'll be back in your studio.
At least I tried.